Like I said,
Let's just
shake hands. GG. It's up.
Sound?
Some things just feel right. When I first laid eyes on Invincible Versus, my thoughts were something along the lines of, yeah, that makes sense. If you were going to choose a comic book to adopt into a fighting game, you could do a lot worse than Robert Kirkman's Magnum Opus.
This looks like a fucking mobile game shit.
Tag fighter, bone-crunching hits, a big cast to draw from, a cool art style, plenty of unique superpowers that can easily be converted into special moves, the works. But Invincible Versus has a secret weapon.
But 100% take this over Unifighter. 100%.
That name might not be familiar to you yet. They're a new studio, but they're anything but rookies. Your number's up. Several members of the 40-plus person development team played a core role in the development of 2013's Killer Instinct, and you can feel that influence. Seeing Invincible Versus is one thing, but when I sat down to play it and speak with members of the team, I knew I was among fellow sickos, and I mean that in the most complimentary way. One of the
videos, but probably check it
you never have enough
as this
time
video's done
to really dig into its systems. This is an incredibly complex genre. Every time you sit down with a new fighting game, it's a new experience. Some of it's like riding a bike. Hold back to block, your assist button will also tag if you hold it, that sort of thing. But a lot of it is new. You gotta learn your button layout. You gotta figure out how combos work, what kind of defensive systems you have, what your special moves do, all kinds of stuff. If I had my way, I would have spent hours in Invincible Versus' training mode just tinkering with teams and learning how things worked. As it was, I only had about an hour, but even with such limited time, I left feeling like I knew what Invincible Versus was by the time I put my fight stick down.
Tell Angstrom he can kiss my ass.
Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Invincible Versus is still very, very early in development.
I like the color. Oh, okay. It's early.
The look and general vibe of the show, mostly because
no, colors are cool. Like I said, it just looks very crusty.
There's still a lot left to do. The build I played didn't have proper lip syncing yet, for instance. But if you're worried about whether this will honor the source material, don't be. Invincible is a brutal, bloody, often shocking story, and that's reflected in how the characters interact on screen. If you're the one dishing out the hurt, your character will quite literally get blood on their hands. It just isn't theirs. Meanwhile, if you're the one getting hit, it'll be obvious. If you've been blocking with your face, the bruises will make sure everyone knows it. That pristine costume will look like you've lost a fight with a lawnmower. The rest of you will resemble a prize fighter who just went 12 rounds with a heavyweight. Or just Mark himself after he's been fighting his dad. Invincible Versus is far from the first fighting game to do real-time battle damage, but it looks great. And I appreciated how I could tell who was winning without looking at the health gauge at the top of the screen.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that it matched the show's visual language. There's a lot of blood here, folks. And hey, if you end up with the right special or super move, and we'll dig into the gameplay in a second, I promise, you can pop Adam Eve's head off or turn bulletproof into a series of limbs missing a torso.
This is gonna hurt. Not done yet.
Oh my god! Nah, that's crazy. That finisher is insane.
Not done yet. Last one.
And it's not just the characters absorbing all this damage. The environments will feel the impact of these superpowered
watching a movie with my bad
There's
bitches,
less of a
man.
visible impact on the moon because, well, the moon is kind of empty. But in a city, you're going to see buildings falling down, cars getting totaled, streets getting torn up, the works. Superheroes trying to kill each other generally doesn't go well for anyone or anything else just starting out. Special moves are their own button, but Invincible Versus doesn't use motion inputs. You choose your special, kind of like you do in Super Smash Bros. Pick a direction and press that special button.
Okay.
So the core gameplay is a lot like Marvel or Dragon Ball FighterZ. Lights go into mediums, which go into heavies, though you can do things like switching between crouching and standing normals to spice things up and open up new routes. And down in heavy gets you a launcher for an air combo. You can also enhance your special moves for special properties and extra hits if you've got the meter, and bone-crunching, human-smushing, jaw-removing supers for when you're ready to cash out. And see a slick animation that will leave your opponent getting literally scraped off the area floor. Plus,
I just want to see who they put in the game, shit. Because, like, the roster's cool, but, like, we need more. We definitely need more. But I don't know who the fuck. I mean, Multi-K's gonna be in that bitch. They showed Rex already. Um, I could see, I could see Cecil being in this bitch. Like, I'm gonna lie to you. Battle Beast for sure. No, definitely. Allen. They got some people for sure.
They're easy to do. Just press heavy
But they
and
made
special
three
at the same
people already, like 3 of the slots are Viltrumites, and you know, Viltrumites we spend literally no time with.
time, and
I
you're
just hope they don't
golden.
pick a bunch of boring
Standard
ass
tag
characters.
fighter stuff.
The Mauler
But
brothers
what makes
and Mauler
Invincible
twins
versus
cook.
cool are the core systems. Some of them you've seen before. You've got a push block to get people off of you, snapbacks to bring a damaged backliner back in so you can keep pouring up the hurt, defensive saves where you can bring in another character to save the one getting comboed, assists for each character that isn't on the field, this is a tag team game after all, ground bounces to set up interesting combo opportunities, and the like. There are way too many options to. But if you're worried that the simplified control scheme means Invincible Versus might not have the juice, let me alleviate that concern for you right now. Once I got put into a high-low mix-up I block stunned by Bulletproof Drekka, I knew this was a game for degenerates, which again, I saw as a compliment. One thing I will dig into is how Invincible Versus determines combo length. As you hit your opponent, you'll see a meter build up. Fill it and your combo will end because your opponent will fall out. This means that while basic combos in Invincible Versus aren't short, they're not as long as the ones you'll find in Marvel 3 or Dragon Ball FighterZ. You'll be out of that combo and back in the action, or dead, before your next birthday. But there is
So
a
you're
way
not getting
around
carried
that.
for 35
Tag in
years?
one of your other characters and you'll reset part of that combo meter, allowing you to lay down additional smack. Getting the most out of your characters requires spending meter or cycling through your team. Neither of these concepts is new, but I appreciate what Quarter Up is doing to make Invincible Versus unique. I also like how different the characters feel. The build I played only had 4 fighters to choose from, but Bulletproof and Thula quickly stood out to me, though neither Invincible nor Adam Eve felt bad. Part of the fun of a tag fighter is building a team that works for you. These characters already feel quite different from one another, and that's a good thing. Thula slicing you to pieces with her hair? Rad. Bulletproof calling you a cow? Iconic. The other thing I appreciate are the little touches. From the unique intro dialogue between the characters, this is becoming more and more rare in modern fighters, and the Dragon Ball Fighter style clashes when a new character comes in. These serve to reset the playing field and let you take a breath. But there's also more unique dialogue here too. I love stuff like this, and I'm happy Quarter Up has embraced it wholeheartedly. When I set my arcade stick down after about an hour with Invincible Versus, I felt pretty good. Trying a new fighting game is a lot like driving a new car for the first time. You've got a general idea of what you're getting, but the devil is in the details. I left pretty pleased with my test drive. Quarter Up still has a lot of work to do, but I can't wait to kick Invincible Versus' tires for real when we see what she can do on the track. Fighting games are a tricky business, but it's also easy to tell when they're on the right track. Invincible Versus has a killer team behind it. The tools and the resources they need to do the comic and the show justice, and a lot of good ideas. Let's just hope they can pull off a superhero landing and look good doing it. For more, check out our previews of Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Bolston. And for everything else in games, keep it locked at IGN.